hanging in there. That was an unbelievable run by Xavier, and I've been in this place a few times. That was about as loud as I've heard it. The difference between the volume in the arena for the majority of the game and then at the end when they were making their run was jarring. We have to be better in a lot of situations, but I think Xavier deserves a lot of credit for the violence with which they played in the second half. They got in the bonus very, very early. They attacked. I think some of our guys felt like they were in a bind because they didn't want to foul out, but we're trying to put our chest on guys and keep them from getting to the paint. Stevie Mitchell and David Joplin made some huge defensive plays down the stretch, and it was just enough.
Chuck, you always talk about how hard you are on Jop. After missing a couple early three-pointers, made some defensive plays, started attacking the paint. What'd you like about the way he settled into the game?
I thought he was terrific with his poise. As you mentioned, a couple of those threes early, it was like, man, you're contested. We can get a better one than that early in the clock. But I thought from there, his ability to create shots on the dribble, his readiness to shoot. We ran a couple actions for him where he was able to put those away. But again, on the defensive end is where I'm most proud of him today. His commitment to his teammates and just a willingness to find a way. It wasn't perfect. I thought we guarded them really, really well for the majority of the game. But then, man, Swain, McKnight, those guys get to drive and Foster, and they also have a lot of guys out there that are a threat to shoot, and we were on our heels too much.
Jop also went over 1,000 points at Marquette. What's that mean to you?
It means he scored a lot of points. I'm grateful for him. Anytime you have someone that's scored over 1,000 points at the same school, that you're just grateful that he's been around that long, and then we got 2/3 of our season left with him.
Coach, what was the key in slowing down Ryan Conwell?
Well, man, I came out in warm-ups about an hour before the game, and Conwell's out there shooting, and he made, I want to say, like maybe 30 for 31, from way out. I mean, it wasn't quite half court, but it was close. And I went in the locker room, but before the game, I said, guys, if we play horse against Ryan Conwell, we are going to lose. Every time we're going to lose. This guy is an elite shooter. And we had played against a guy at Iowa State that did the same thing in warm-ups, and we didn't respect that enough. So I thought today there was a very good level of respect for who Conwell is as a player. We lost him once for a three, but for the most part, our guys did a really good job making sure that what he did was difficult.
It wasn't Cam's usual efficient shooting night, but what'd you think about him, his confidence making those clutch plays down the stretch?
B- for him. I'm hard on him. There's nobody I'd rather have in the country. I wouldn't trade anyone for Cam Jones, but he can be better. He can be more efficient. He has to understand that if he doesn't have an angle, he's got to get to 2 feet, and he's got to be strong with the ball, and teams are going to converge. He had a lot of assists today, but I thought he could have had even more sometimes when he got in there. And then, man, that turnover that they forced on his drive, the play of the game for us was David Joplin, I think, had a block on that ensuing possession for Xavier. So when your teammates have your back as a player, that's huge. David Joplin, Stevie Mitchell, those guys, intensity on the defensive end was huge. Cam can and will be more efficient. Chase Ross can and will be much, much better than he was today. But it's nice to be able to get out of here with a win with neither one of those guys necessarily playing their best.
And Shaka, on that very last play, when Conwell was driving down the court and Chase is right there, what's going through your mind, and how did you think he played that drive past midcourt?
Well, I'll say this. I think in sports, those kind of plays, it comes down to what color you're wearing, and which side you're on and which perspective you have. I give Xavier incredible credit. They're obviously down some guys. They obviously Fremantle's been such a centerpiece since he's come back. Really, anytime he's been playing and healthy in a Xavier uniform, he's been a centerpiece for them. Unfortunately, he's had multiple injuries that have taken him out for long stretches of time. And the way that these guys fought was phenomenal, and it got us on our heels. It really took us out of the things we were trying to do. So for the game to come down to, that play at the end is certainly unfortunate. But, what I tell our guys is we're going to control the controllables, and it doesn't change regardless of the results out there.
What's it say about the depth of your team that when Cam's, not his usual efficient self and Chase is in foul trouble, that you guys found a way to win?
Yeah, Damaris Owens, Royce Parham, Zayd Lowry, Trey Norman, those guys gave us really quality depth tonight. And it wasn't like they were just in there because the other guys needed a break. I thought they impacted the game in a major way. Trey Norman is really growing up from a defensive standpoint. I mean, his sturdiness, his readiness, his ability to stay ahead of the play on defense is something that's really impressing me, and that's going to get him out there more and more.